Welcome to our 25th episode of Black Dance Stories. Welcome to our 24th episode of Black Dance Stories and a new season. Wow, I'm pushing it, y'all. Look at all the beautiful faces on your screen. Here's a note about why we are here. Our dance world was pummeled by COVID-19, and Black dance artists are finding ways to talk about life during this time. Our world was further turned upside down after horrible events ensued nationally and globally, bringing attention yet again to the need for the Black Lives Matter movement. Black dance artists have not been quiet. Black dance artists have been doing the work. Black dance artists continue to make work. To stay involved, we hold these weekly impromptu discussions and tell stories. Black dance stories. This is one action, and as we promised in 2020, we are still involved. Here we go, 2021. We, BDS, and some new folks, are a community working together to support, uphold, highlight, and celebrate Black creatives. Tonight is our 24th episode of what we hope will be many stories told in the artist's own voices. Tonight it's Paloma McGregor and Yusha-Marie Sorzano's turn. Please meet some folks from our ever-growing BDS team. I will go first. I am Charmaine Warren. I am a Jamaican. I am the great-granddaughter of Ida Boyd, granddaughter of Solomon Golson and Ruby Chapman, and one of 9 children by Theophilus Warren and my 95-year-old mother, Pearline Warren, who lives in Jamaica. I am a non-disabled Black woman. With the utmost respect to the Native people, I acknowledge that I live on the stolen land of the indigenous Lenape people, now known as Montclair, New Jersey, with my husband, photographer and graphic artist Tony Turner. Our daughter, Ashay Turner, a Black ballerina with locks, is in her junior year at Boston Conservatory. I have locks that fall to my shoulders. I'm wearing a green turtleneck and large beige earrings. Behind me are photos of our family, a large plant, a lamp, and African masks. Happy Black Dance Stories Thursday to our old and new friends, and we can't wait to see you all in the chat. I turn it over to Kimani.
Thank you, Charmaine. And y'all, it's so good to be back. Wow. So you know how I start. In the words of Sabella Grimes, Mama Gloria Grimes is Sabella Grimes' mama, Gloria Grimes, delicious, delightful dancing night. Yes, we are back. The importance of acknowledging our familial and dance legacies is an essential tradition. With deep respect and honor, I want to acknowledge the Lenni Lenape people whose stolen land I am zooming from, currently known as the Village of Harlem. I am a Black, non-disabled woman, and I live with my 9-year-old son. I am sitting in my dining room. I have a golden low-cut hairstyle. I'm wearing Black long sleeve kind of jacket shirt with large silver hoop earrings. I am the granddaughter of Lucille Madison, English professor. I teach because of her. Daughter of Ronald Augustus Fowlin, Jamaican warrior and gourmet chef, and Anne Fowlin, rebel and Renaissance woman. I dance because of them. My son Tamayo keeps me present, and I am in awe of him as this blossoming young visual artist. And with that, I will turn it over to Renee.
Thank you, Kimani. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Renee Redding Jones, and I am Director of Finance and Development for Black Dance Stories. I'm coming to you tonight from my home on the stolen land that is housed on the stolen land of the Lenape people, known today as Teaneck, New Jersey. As I acknowledge the Lenape people, I also want to honor my genetic lineage. I am granddaughter of Eleanor Louise and Charles Moore, Izell and Francis Redding. I am daughter of Eleanor and Emmanuel Redding, and mother to two women who are my greatest teachers, Jasmine and Jennifer, and grandmother to Dakota, and wife to my beloved of 35 years, Jerry. I'm sitting in front of a multicolored screen. I have on a tan sweater. What do I have on? And gold hoop earrings. I pass it to beloved Cynthia.
Thank you, Renee, and happy Black Dance Stories Thursday, everyone. My name is Cynthia Tate, and I am the proud publicist of this beautiful Black community. I am coming to you today from Queens, New York, on stolen Lenape land. I am a non-disabled Black woman. My parents are Walter Tate and Greta Shaw Tate from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am wearing gold earrings, gold framed glasses, and a rust-colored head wrap. I am going to pass it on to Gabe.
Everybody, my name is Gabriel Lee Dekolodenu. I go by he, his, him. I also am on the stolen land of the Lenape people. I am the son of William Dekolodenu and Diane Dekolodenu. And behind me is a bookshelf with a plant on it. And I'm wearing a white t-shirt with some track pants. And I'm going to pass it off to Antonio. Oh yeah, and I'm the web developer for the website of Black Dance Stories.
Hey, how y'all doing, everybody? I'm Antonio Burkett of Intentional Interpreting LLC. I procure the beautiful, phenomenal American Sign Language interpreters that you will see throughout the night. I'm a non-disabled Black male currently living in Washington, D.C., the stolen land of the Anacostan people. I have on a blazer, button-down polo, and a silver bow tie, 2 cornrows to the back, and my background is gray. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Makeda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Makeda Roni. I am the director of production for Black Dance Stories. I'm so happy to be here. I am a Black woman. I am living currently in Harlem, New York, which is the stolen land of the Lenape people. I am the daughter of Nia Love and Antoine Roni. I'm a 4th generation artist and 5th plus generation intuitive from the Love Roni family line. And I'm just so excited to be here. And I'm pushing it over to Makeda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Makeda Smith, and I am the digital marketing director for Black Dance Stories. I am currently on the land of the Lenape people, stolen land of the Lenape people, located in Jersey City, New Jersey. I am a non-disabled Black woman. I am currently wearing a beige sweater, a kind of maroon and navy blue satin scarf with large gold hoops. And I'm currently sitting on my couch that is gray with white paneling in the back. And I am passing it on to Kojo.
Hi, my name is Kojo Roni. I'm the drummer and provided a little track or something to represent this great production. I'm on the land of, as far as we know, the Lenape people, but really we're on the land of the nature of planet Earth, and we can't really pinpoint on who owns it, because that is still a way to pinpoint it, or a way to, how would you say? That's another conversation. But as far as we know, I'm on the land of the Lenape, Harlem, New York. I am son of Antoine Roni and Nia Love, grandson of many, but to name a few, Wallace Roni II, a very important person, and Ed Love, also a very important person. And I'm wearing a yellow tank top. I'm in a wood structure room. And that's about it for me. I'm gonna pass it on to David.
Hi, everyone. My name is David J. Roberts, and I am the Executive Director of 651 Arts. My pronouns are he and him. I am the son of Cheryl and Russell. I am the grandson of OJ and Velma and David and Ruth. And I am calling in from Manhattan, New York City, which are the ancestral and unceded lands of the Lenape people, and was named Mannahatta by them, meaning land of many hills. I am thrilled to be here, and 651 is honored to join Black Dance Stories in this endeavor. And I am going to pass it on to my partner in crime, my partner in not crime, my partner in plenty.
Purpose.
Yeah, my
and
partner
plenty.
in plenty and purpose, Monica.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monica L. Williams. I go by the pronouns of she, her. I am the Chief Curator and Director of Programs at 651 Arts. I am calling or zooming in from the unceded land of the original people, the Lenape people in East Harlem. My background, I have on white glasses and a green dress. And my background is a myriad of bookshelves and plants. And I am the daughter of Ronald and Cassina, and the granddaughter of Otis and Mildred and Jewel and Grady. And I am so honored to be here today with the Black Dance family. And I pass it on to Fanta.
Hello, my name is Fanta Ballo. I'm currently in Syracuse, New York, which is a stolen land of the Onondagan people. And I'm daughter to Solomena Ballo and Awa Kone from Ivory Coast in Mali. I currently have on a gray sweater with a gray hat with the blue underbrim. In the background, you see it like I'm at a mall right now. And I'm gonna pass it to my fellow intern, Maya.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maya Leanne Addy. I'm currently in Columbus, Ohio, on the stolen land of the Shawnee people. I am daughter to Thomas and Bettina Addy and sister to Justin and Zachary Addy. And I work on the Patreon for Black Dance Stories. I'm going to pass it on to my fellow intern, Ariana.
Hi, my name is Ariana Spate, she, her, hers. I'm currently based in New Jersey, New York area, the stolen land of the Lenape people. I'm originally from LA, where my parents live, Alicia Young and Derek Spate, and stepdaughter of David Lau, who's given birth to my two younger siblings, Aubrey and Reese. I work here as an intern with BDS. I'll pass it on to Tony.
So Tony is not here, but we are going to give credit to two people that are not on camera, and that's Tony Turner, who is the graphic artist extraordinaire and Charmaine's husband. And then we also have Caitlin Chandler, video tech expert. So that is the family, y'all. And I will turn it back to Makeda. You're muted.
I just saw I'm muted. So community is such a big part of Black Dance Stories. And so we want to know who's watching tonight. Drop some comments in the chat, say hello, where you're from. Just feel free to engage and share some love. Also, please follow us on our social media, our Instagram @Black Dance Stories, our Twitter @BLK Dance Stories. And most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have a huge goal of making it to 1,000 subscribers, and we're gonna make that goal, and we can't do that without your help in your community. So please subscribe, follow us, and share with your community. Make sure to like and comment on this video and spread some love. It is up to your interactions for us to continue to be seen and spread along. So all this is not possible without your support, and without your community, and without your love. And without further ado, everyone grab yourself some wine or water or tea or your cup of happy. And let's cheers to Black Dance Stories.
Oh, it's cup of happy. I like that.
Cup of happy. Yes. Cheers. 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 Cheers.
I'm going to pass it to Mama Charmaine.
Shall I pass it to you first, Kimani?
Yeah, I just want to make a statement because we always have to stay vigilant. Our BDS team will continue to stand in solidarity with our sisters and brothers here and all over the world. And we want an immediate end to systemic racism. So this ongoing instances of the brutality prove the need to support the Black dance stories and larger communities. So we stand together always, just be vigilant. I turn it over to you, Charmaine.
Thank you. And thank you everybody out there for staying with us for this very important long introduction of everyone. We know you're here to see Paloma and Usha, we know. But one last thing, we just want to say to our dear founding member, Nick Hall, a lot of you noticed that he's not here. Nick has moved on to other endeavors, and we ask that you lift a glass of cheer to Nick. One more time, lift a glass to Nick, to Nick, to Nick.
Nick, Nick, Nick.
Nick, 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 cheers. And Makeda is on screen. Makeda is here with us. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. Stay with us. All right. New team, old team, sticking with us team. They're gonna go. See y'all soon. And it's time for Paloma McGregor to join. Paloma McGregor to join. Hey.
Hey, Mama Charmaine.
Hey, Paloma.
It's so good to see you.
Oh my gosh, my heart is full. So cheers.
Oh, hold on, because you know I have a track. Cheers.
Cheers.
To you and to Vision.
Oh, to us. Introduce yourself and...
Well, I feel so grateful for the introductions because they feel so in keeping with some of the thinking that I've been doing. And I have an offering of some thoughts today, and then I would love to be in a conversation with you if I'm not too long-winded and haven't used up all my time. So first, I want to offer gratitude for breath, for a place to live, for family and comrades. I am so grateful for the joy of Olamina, the 5-year-old whose path I get to shepherd. My name is Paloma Elisa Ekua McGregor. I am the daughter of Angela and Oscar, and the granddaughter of Patricia and Elisa, Louis and Charles, the mother of Olamina, the wife of Kofi, the sister of Patricia, the auntie of Orion and Jupiter, the sister-in-law of Freedom. I am the first generation of my family to grow up in the mainland US. I am a native Virgin Islander, the land called Ai by the indigenous Arawak, Taino, and Carib. The first time Columbus landed here in 1493, these folks ran him off. I come from warriors and truth tellers, from a land colonially known as St. Croix, a 27-mile-long island that has flown 7 colonial flags, including the Knights of Malta, which is just a bunch of dudes. It's a current US colony where I am currently sitting. I'm the daughter of a 95-year-old fisherman, which your 95 reminded me of, Charmaine, and an 83-year-old retired public school art teacher. I am a journalist and a dancer and an organizer. And my life has taught me about honoring the intersections and not bowing to the silos and the production-oriented making small of ourselves. Thank you, Charmaine, for doing the same and exempling that, and for this visionary work, and for the team that has helped shepherd this vision. And thanks to y'all who are listening and witnessing with us today. One of my favorite storytellers, who's now an ancestor, Baba John O'Neill, says, "The story forms in the ear of the listener." It's one of my favorite affirmations about telling stories and about the significance of the witness. So without you, these stories, my story, our stories would not be complete. I also want to describe myself. I'm a non-disabled, light-skinned Black woman with dark curly hair, wearing a burnt orange, kind of fly V-neck wrap dress and a chunky beaded necklace from Senegal. Most of my work right now is as the co-founder and artistic director of Angela's Pulse, which is named after my mother, who was not only an arts educator, but a union organizer and a lifelong warrior. We're a Black-led, artist-led organization founded in 2008. We're not a 501c3, we're a fiscal sponsored. We like our liberty in that way. And we have folks who are partners who let us do our work with freedom and help to hold us down. Our leadership in the field, or the work that me and my team do, comes through a couple of core kind of community building initiatives, Dancing While Black, the North Star Arts Incubator, and Building a Better Fish Trap. We've slowly and strategically kind of looked at developing our practice over time, including building performance, of course, because I love performing, but also curating and producing and creating a fellowship program for emerging dance artists and publishing a digital journal. For some time, my folks and I haven't believed that the current arts landscape, including training, creation, and presenting models, really are aligned with our own path. And we have questions about whether these models serve anyone, but especially Black communities. As I said before, I come from a Black community that's among one of the most marginalized in the US, the Virgin Islands, this colony. But our distance also from the mainland, I feel like avails us, at least in my experience growing up, of an agency and a self-determination that is harder to assert in this main landscape where Black folks are executed and expected regularly to accept a pulling away of our liberties without any justice or even hope for justice. So I come from this Black space, and then I moved away. I had no idea at age 10 what I'd be losing, especially as a young person who coming up in a place where the States was kind of your destination as a colony. You're looking toward the States as a destination. So I thought I was on a path towards success. And through middle school and high school, I moved all over this country, the US, and mostly not in Black space. I didn't return to what I would call Black space until undergrad at Florida A&M University, a historically Black university in Tallahassee, then under the leadership of the visionary Dr. Frederick Humphreys. I tell you all this to say that sometimes losing something is exactly what you need to recognize its value. So I'm grateful to have had something to lose in the first place, to have had this first community set a standard for me in many ways for what I expect, and to have a place to continue to return to. Last year and this year, these years are connected, has me really thinking about what I and we have lost that we want to hold on to, and what I and we have lost that we do better with letting go of. So as I said before, I spent my early life experiencing this loss of home community. And I imagine that's likely why I've worked most of my adult life to pull people together in beloved community. Being an artist made it easier because I could call it rehearsal. Hey, y'all want to come hang out? Because we're going to have rehearsal and we're going to make this thing. But rehearsal for what, really, is increasingly the question for me over time. Because increasingly, I don't care that deeply about the final product part of our system. I care about whether, when the time comes for us to come together around something much more high stakes than a show, I want to know whether we've built the capacity to exercise our visioning, to push our growing edges and the things we don't know, to move through tension and disagreement and shame, to say yes to one another and to say yes to the bigger picture. How much have we practiced letting go, adapting? How much have we practiced exercising the parts of us that are weaker, which in our dance practice is a lot of the focus. This, for me, is what makes art making relevant to living, to community, to history. This is why I am an artist. So perhaps that's why also for some time now, and several years and in public, because I am sometimes an instigator, I've been wondering out loud how many of our arts institutions are actually irrelevant or going to make themselves irrelevant. And my comrades and I see arts institutions doing this to themselves by holding on to their conscious and perhaps unconscious reliance on the racism and capitalism and patriarchy that are embedded inside their structures, inside the systems for doing work, inside their practices, inside their spaces themselves, and the histories that they choose to name. Histories which have been internalized by extension by the people who run them and work for them and look to them as a resource. So this is all tangled together. Now, thanks to comrades in time, I would add to the list of institutional flaws ableism, heteronormativism, transphobia, and ageism, among other things. So in my experience as a dancer and a performer, as a maker and an organizer, most arts institutions exist by living off of the poorly compensated labor of visioning artists and communities. And they maintain their position by perpetuating this sense of scarcity and exclusivity that frankly has never served us. Of course, we already know all of this, but the pandemic and the uprisings have brought this into relief. In particular, I feel like in dance and performance, the touring had to stop. And I have to say that touring is a model that I have a complex history with, given that I toured and was a beneficiary of touring all over this country with Jawle Zahler and Urban Bushwomen, and also with Liz Lerman. But that also allows me to be an informed critic of this model. What's interesting though is that my work actually didn't stop. I haven't been a touring artist as a maker and as an organizer. And during this past year, I feel like I have communities of folks that I need to check in with or work to shepherd resources toward, or emergent visions that have come up that we need to attend to together. We've also had a lot of raging and grieving and laughing to do again and again. And that's always been a part of the work. That's process. That's processing. And so thinking about process and processing, creative process and processing of our times as being interconnected has been really helpful. By the middle of the summer, actually, my work started to pick up, much of that with universities struggling to address students' demands to do better. And I think the reason that our work has continued in this time is because most of our work isn't built on this too pervasive touring model. It's built on this slow, deliberate, not so showy labor of cultivating community. And these could be communities of practice or identity or geography, folks that come together with a purpose and a commitment. Often we come together to make performance, sure, But the driving philosophy behind the work is that creative process is a practice for any kind of visionary labor. You know, creating together pushes us to build the muscles of collaboration, of how to actualize a vision. And it includes strategies for working at your growing edges, being intention, sharing stories in space, listening, crying, laughing loudly, too loud, and just allowing time to sit in silence and let things emerge. You know, art practice, if we stop trying to fit it into these producing model boxes, has a lot to teach us about everything. And right now, it feels perhaps more necessary than ever. So I'm going into this 2021 year, I'm doing more teaching at universities, and I feel all the more charged up about how particularly young people, because I'm thinking about them as I'm teaching these courses, can think about their artistic practice in broader terms that can help to shift and shape the future of the relevance of art making within our broader culture. You know, the business of art making hasn't put enough value on what's created in the practice itself, much of which can't be counted or measured, and importantly, can't be sold. And so because of this, you know, I've been fortunate enough to set myself on a path and be able to intersect with sort of mentors and colleagues who've already been doing this work. I count you among them, Charmaine. So I feel like there's also a way in which encouraging young people to kind of set some goals around whose work is speaking to you in ways that might be broader than, ooh, they can twirl, you know. I mean, that there is something to that. And what else? What else is at work? How does it move your spirit? And so, you know, I feel like Urban Bush Women is one of those spaces and places. I interviewed Jawale when I was 20 years old, Charmaine. And then a decade later at 30, I was auditioning for her. So these things also take time. You know, where I was a decade ago is not exactly where I am now. You know, the intersection of community building and creativity was not so clear to me a decade ago, or in 2008 when I founded Angela's Pulse with just a name. Like, I need to name something after my mother, you know? And if I name it after her, I have to make it good. So, you know, and I'll say one last thing if I have time, is that I feel like I have focused most of my professional life and work around Black and POC-led partnerships, around centering Black and POC voices in a field that too often still marginalizes our voices, doesn't have central space for us, and a field where too few people are willing to give up their own power, their own sense of entitlement to the roles that they play within the field for us to really have space to make our way. So I focused on Black and POC-led partnerships, and I also believe me and my people are owed some of the hoarded material resources that prop up white institutions: space, time, money, jobs, you know. So psychologically, emotionally, philosophically, especially at this moment, I can't center white institutions. You know, I've never let quest for access to them be the primary focus of my energies. And now is not a time to start letting that be the case. Their urgency may or may not be my urgency or my folks' urgency. You know, I think there are pathways that already exist that people have carved out long before me, ancestral pathways and more contemporary pathways for making your own way. The ones that have been created by white institutions may be paved for some, but they've never felt voluminous enough or interesting enough for me and my people and our visions for ourselves in the world. I feel like we want access to the roads that are paved if we choose to travel them. So no hate on anybody who chooses to travel those roads. We helped build them in the first place. But I also like to think that, maybe because I'm here, like we have machetes to make the ways that are our own. And we're ready to cut away the things that we no longer need. And I think that's all I have to say for today.
Oh my gosh. You still have a minute or so, but one of the things after you just, the mentorship, the responsibility that we have now and focusing it more. So it's a wide open questions for less than 2 minutes, but
okay.
Where are you with that right now? I'm happy to be called one of your mentors,
Yeah.
makes me so happy, but now you, right, in turn.
Yeah, so I also found myself this past year really noticing my middle space. Like I'm the middle. I have access to to folks like you, to folks who've carved a pathway a generation, 2 generations before me, as well as access to folks who are coming up, who are next generations. Like I really feel settled in this middleness. And it's also disconcerting because the stuff comes up around like critique, in either direction.
Right.
And so I feel like for me right now, practicing a lot of grace and patience around like each of us are having our own experience of this time. If I get impatient with younger folks, I have to remember like the year that Dancing While Black was founded, which is the year that Trayvon Martin was killed, 2012, some of these people were 10.
Yeah.
They've grown up with a deep series of trauma that from childhood, witnessing sort of a Black pain cycle broadcast widely. So when I hear somebody say that they use the word trauma, and I think to myself, oh, really, is that trauma? I also have to remember there's an accumulation of trauma. But just like we know that there's ancestral trauma that lives in our bodies. And what are the ancestral wisdoms that live in our bodies? What are the wisdoms that live in that young body? Our freedom fighters are often quite young. So,
yeah.
So I'm settling into some kind of understanding about what it means to be in the middle place, which is I've never been that before. So it's actually like a threshold for me, a growing edge around like, well, what's my vision for being in this intermediary space, and how do I access some of the things that I know I'm good at that maybe actually haven't gotten to use as much until I got here. Oh, I can connect you with this. I love doing that. Oh, oh, this person, I want to connect, and maybe now is the time for that to become one of my primary purposes. Oh, let me connect a connector. So.
Terrible segue,
yeah.
But I'm going to use it anyway.
Please.
Can I connect you with Usha now?
Oh, please. In our Pan-Caribbean conversation.
Yes. Come on in, Usha. Bring us all in. Bring us all in, Maki. Maki, bring us all in. Oh my gosh, Usha, you're muted. And I'm so happy because guess what I get to do now before you two start to talk, and I get to tell you who's here. Ooh, a lot of people are here. Laura Marchese is here. Amy Casello is here. Pia is here. Elizabeth Zimmer is here. Ann Davidson, Stacy Dinner, Jay Bowie, Melanie Dixon, I think I said, that says, Cynthia Oliver, Trebian is here. Angie Pittman is here. Hank Smith is here. And I hope I haven't missed anybody, but of course, Shayla V. Jenkins is here. Oh, you're friends.
That's
Guess what?
beautiful.
I know. Cheers to y'all. And guess what time it is now? It's your time. I'll see you in a
Cheers.
minute. Have fun.
Woo.
This is our time to talk to each.
I think so. Paloma, come back.
Paloma,
Paloma's
come
coming
on back, baby girl.
I didn't turn off my video. Okay.
Okay, there you are.
I'm back.
Have fun.
Thank you, Mama Charmaine. Paloma, why? Why did you do that to me? Because I did not make a First of all, this is the first time that we can actually say that we've met. Like we had an instinct that, like, I know you. How do I know you? Why do?
That's
And
right.
I've heard your name, and it's such an interesting thing to just be dropped into where you placed us. And I just want to say thank you for bringing us here, for bringing me here. I did not prepare for this space except for a little casual stalking of you, and I knew you were Caribbean, but I didn't get all until what you just gave. And there are just so many things I want to ask and share with you, and I don't know. I'm just going to say a word. Everyone, I'm Usha. I will tell you a little bit more about myself soon. I hope you won't mind that I maximize this gift of time with Paloma to engage with a human being that I have found in the last 20 minutes I intersect so much with. And what a gift that is. And that was the first word that I wrote down. I wrote down intersection, and this will be my way in, Paloma, is that you spoke of so many things. I want to say I've been touring since 2004. And March 12th was the first time I came home for longer than 2 months. And this is the longest I have been home since 2004. And yeah, I don't know. Shall we start with intersection and touring?
Yeah. And yeah. Where are you? Are you in Trinidad?
No, I wish I
Okay.
was.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
They locked us out of those borders.
Yeah.
I am currently in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
On the stolen land of, as far as I know, the Tongva people. I am originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I am an immigrant. I have assimilated such that most people don't even identify that I am an immigrant.
Yes.
If I speak with my family, it comes back. I live two identities. I'm not American enough, nor am I Trinidadian enough. And so I live in a space between always.
Yeah. The touring relates somehow to this space in between, and maybe perhaps relates to the way I've always thought about, or when my dancing became more mature, the way I thought about the in between of everything being the important parts of the dancing. Right now feels like a great in between, where the important thing, like where I am right now, or where we all are finding ourselves, for me feels like there was a before and we're not at an after, whatever that means. So we're dancing the in between. And if I really just talking to you is making me think of it and frame it in this way, and framing it in this way might help me get through this thing, because the in between is like, I feel like I've been in waves with it. So maybe a little bit, it feels a little bit, and I've been moving around a bit. So I feel like I've been on tour again in a way that I hadn't in the past, trying to find spaces for me and my family to feel a bit more ease, given the multiple circumstances that we're contending with. And so
The in-between.
If I can think of it as like, oh, this is like that part, it's the transition, it's the part in between, and it might take a long time. It's durating in a way I'm not accustomed to.
There's something there, and I was talking to Mama Charmaine about this the other day when we touched base to discuss what we were going to talk about, and she specifically said, don't plan anything. So I planned nothing, as I said. But I've been having conversations with people, and that in between you're describing, I found my way of articulating it through, you know, how people in other countries come up with specific words for like 5 different things in whatever society you like connect to, right?
Yes.
And I feel that right now we are in the place where we may birth a new word, because I cannot articulate, and it's funny, and this will bring us back to Mama Charmaine, to Testament. I cannot articulate both the duality of the lament and hope I feel every day. I cannot articulate. I cannot articulate. It is really that simple. All I can do is feel the feeling, and I feel as though when we come out on the other side of it, we may have to find a new word.
I love that you said that. You know, there are these disappearing languages, and I do feel like that some of the challenge of English is that its language is born out of the culture that bore it, and so some phenomena are not accounted for. Different phenomena are not accounted for in different cultures because there is not a cultural value put on that phenomena. You know, I have a choreographer friend who I haven't seen in more than a decade, whose name is Aya Lin, and her family is from Chile, and in an indigenous Chilean language, Aya Lin means the moment when 2 smiles meet. There's a word for that. You know, and so it really resonates with me to hear you say that, and then to think about the possibilities about who is the we who will birth this new word.
Who is the we? I am, and I'm actually grateful for the in-between. I'm actually quite clouded by who the we is. I'm clouded within self. I'm looking at the world through this camera. And even as assertive as people seem to be tackling insurmountable challenges of communication during a time like this, I'm watching them do it with a certainty that I'm like, are you sure? You know, like, I felt like at the beginning in March that everyone slowed down just enough to recognize that they should pay attention to the between. And then we activated enough that we should, that we needed to speak to, as you said, that the ancestral trauma, and how you catch up to it with Black Lives Matter. There's so much, but then, as you already articulated, in the summer, work picked up, and now there's no more space. And so I don't even want to pretend, as a working artist, and I'm so grateful to say that I'm a working artist, I don't even want to pretend in any way, shape, or form like I know what I'm doing right now. I do not. That is my truth, and I am comfortable with that. And it feels so powerful to say that out loud.
I really appreciate that. What you just articulated, the time frames you just laid out, is a bit of where the roller coaster came from, because I do feel like, oh yes, my work feels more normalized, and that's actually disconcerting to me. Whereas when things started to kind of fall away in March, even as there was fear, there was also relief. Personally, not about what was happening to other people, but a relief around like that the structures were not just continuing to rev and cycle, that, you know, and now the inertia, people want things to be some people want things to be normal again, and normal wasn't good for so many people already, which is what all of this is revealing, both within the field and in the broader context. So
the structures, and it's something I wrote down that you said, we need longer than 20 minutes. Let me just say that. But we don't have it. So
but that's okay. I'm going to get your phone number. Yes, that's right. I'm excited about that.
Yes, me too. Yeah. I wrote down the structures because I have been, you hear my accent. I, as I said, have assimilated such that most people don't even identify that I am an immigrant. I was taught when I came here at the age of 8 to fit into the structures, not only from the majority, you know, the dominant, but also from my beautiful mother, who I've not yet said her name. I am born to Rosalind Antoinette Muirhead and Naris Sorzano. I am stepdaughter to Chester Franklin Muirhead. I am Trini to the bone. I am also a Trin Jam, as my mother says, because my stepfather is Chinese Jamaican. I don't identify him as my stepfather. He's my pops. I couldn't come up with a word that felt right, so I picked pops. But
don't do too much introduction. Don't do too much introduction.
I know. I'm gonna stop. But it's so hard because it's like, how do you? I'm trying to.
I know. But listen, so there's some more people coming in. I already told you that Shayla is here. Nia Love is here. Laura Greer is here. And I'm sorry, beautiful people out there, but it says DJRNYC212. That's not a name, but I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I let you know that we see you. Y'all, you know my heart is so full. And can we all see what that says?
Thank you, Mama Charmaine.
Paloma's Dancing Wild Black. I forgot to put it on earlier. So Paloma, we see you in a minute.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yusha. Woo.
Thank you so much, Paloma.
Yeah, I'll see you in a sec.
That went by so quick.
I know. All right, sweet one. So reintroduce yourself and
where to begin. Hello, everyone again. Hello, all. I'm consistently negotiating what words to use to address a collective, everyone, y'all. I've taken out guys. I wrote a couple of notes. My name is Yusha-Marie Sorzano. There's a Y in front of my name. My mother placed it there because she thought it was pretty-er. You take the Y away and you just have Usha. It's an East Indian name. I come from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I am born, again, I will say her name because she is my queen, to Rosalind Antoinette Muirhead and to Naris Sorzano. I am stepdaughter to Chester Franklin Muirhead. I am a performing artist. I am a choreographer. I'm an educator. I am a mentor. I am a co-artistic director of a new dance company that I launched during a pandemic. That was a great idea. You got to soldier on, people. I've lived most of my life to date in the States. For a few years in Miami, which I always say to friends, I don't consider Miami America. And then for many years in New York. And now here in Los Angeles, in the stolen land of the Tongva people, as far as I know. There are a lot of indigenous people here, and so I think California is consistently trying to find its truth. So I'll keep moving with it. Similar to Paloma, I am of two identities. I am of two cultures. I am in a place of consistent questioning. I think I always have been. And I think where I've landed today is that I want to talk about structures. This year, I am a fellow at the New York City Public Library's Performing Arts Division. And the word that the topic of conversation for this year's cohort was immigrant. And when I saw the word, I thought like an immigrant, I think, first. Paloma said earlier, she spoke of her people, and she said there's a certain agency and self-determination that comes along with people from the Caribbean. And so when I saw the word immigrant, I did not think about being an immigrant. I more thought like an immigrant and thought, ooh, that could be a job. I gotta get another job. This is another way in. Let me figure out, I'm gonna fit it in, I'm gonna make it work, I'm gonna move it around. And I say that because if you know me at all, you know that I am always juggling about 5 million things at one time. It's not because I'm scared of silence, it's because I am perpetually scared of not being able to survive the structure. My mother came here in search of a better life. And so I am, I didn't think I'd get emotional, but I am. I think it's part exhaustion and part this beautiful experience. My mother came here to give me a better life, so I fought to fit in. And somewhere in there, I lost myself. So I think about structures. I think about how many of us who've experienced ancestral trauma, lived trauma, future trauma, the expectation of what might come next, because that is, I believe, a thing too. I think about why we keep existing in what does not serve us anymore. I think about the machete. I think about the machete. I think about, as my pops calls it, the Jamaican gun. I think about how to redraw lines. And although I am a working artist right now, doing many other projects that I am stepping into the work as a collaborator, in my own work, I am tasking myself with the responsibility to redraw my own lines, to reframe my own structures. And that really came out of one simple thing. One day on social media, I saw conflict, and I thought, I have an opinion on this thing, but I was scared of the conflict. I didn't want to see anybody, you don't like seeing people throw down on social media, right? I don't know, maybe some people do. I personally am like, oh dear, here we go. But I was scared of that conflict. I was scared that if I spoke my truth, someone might decide that they might disagree with me and decide not to work with me anymore. And in that moment, I silenced myself. And thankfully, I had done enough work that the moment after I silenced myself, I said to myself, and I'm going to pull this up, this is a part of my fellowship work, is I said, what social structure could impact my livelihood such that being silent was better than speaking my truth? What social structure could impact my livelihood such that being silent was better than speaking my truth? It feels as though there are many, but in this between that I exist in, that I think we all exist in, I am going to endeavor to use my Jamaican gun, to use my machete, to redraw my lines. And that is where I find myself presently. It is hard because, as Paloma said, the world just wants to keep barreling forward. And I think we live as people of color, people that are othered. I think we understand living double consciousness, and my agency and my determination makes it such that I think it's manageable to keep up here and stop. So I haven't figured that one out yet, but I'm throwing it out to you, the world, to throw it out to the world. You can throw it back. You can take it in. In my research, the purpose of my research was to, in the library, the purpose of my research was to speak to what I was talking about, right? To ask myself, do you censor yourself as I have, and why? And when I finally got past trying to get another gig to quell the anxiety of fitting into structures, I was able to link my immigrant experience to social structures. How I forced myself into them, how so many of us do. And I saw a pathway to honoring those immigrant voices that had made works before. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I do want to say I find it really kismet that Cynthia Oliver is here, because that was one of the names on my list of choreographers that I looked into. And we speak of the ancestral trauma and all of this dealing with the restructuring, the redrawing lines. I spoke of lament and hope, finding Cynthia in my research, finding representations of myself in dance has given me so much hope. And even though we're in the between, I have hope that we will figure out that word that we spoke about. I have hope that I will find some sort of balance between this motion machine and silence. I have the beginnings of acceptance that it will never actually stop, that balance is a continual shifting of weight. As a classically trained dancer, it took me years to figure that one out. As a human being, it took me even longer. And I say classically trained dancer, another structure. My first training, my first movement was that of my hips. It was to whine. It was to chip. Music played in my house from the second I woke up in the morning to the second we went to sleep at night. It was soca and calypso. It was reggae. It was parang at the holiday. It just occurs to me now that as we redraw lines in this space, and as I watch Americans to be blanket Black Americans redraw the lines in this structure, I recognize I don't have to draw within any other line than that is my own. Respectfully. I have no idea where I am on time, and I have no idea what just came out of my soul. I will say another word that Paloma said, my little, very poorly written notes. So I am processing, and this is process.
Process brought you here. Gotta say it, you got me all teared up too. You and Paloma. And I want you to say out loud that you just literally, was it a year ago? 2 years? When did you take on the title choreographer?
I have been waiting for permission to say who I am for most of my life. I called myself a choreographer finally in 2018. And you, as my mentor, helped me to say it. I don't like to take up too much space, but if I'm in the space, I will engage with it. And because of that, I did not want to call myself a choreographer. And you said, Usha, say it. And so all throughout this process where you had already been a mentor of sorts to me, you were my professor in college, you always kept tabs on me even after I graduated. And then I was gifted with you as my mentor for this residency at the Ailey School. And again, you gave me another opportunity you pushed, as Paloma and we were talking about, you pushed, you said you would find the thing and you would just keep, and it wasn't forceful. It was kind, it was patient. It was also just enough of a push. So by the end, I was able to whisper, I'm a choreographer. Just a little whisper. And then when I started to get more work as a choreographer, I was like, okay, well, I got to say it sometime because can't live in this in between, or can you? I don't know. But I'm saying I'm a choreographer now. I am a choreographer. And as a working choreographer in a pandemic, man, I spend about 8 hours on the computer. I have actually been sitting in front of this computer, let me do the math, for 8 hours today.
You know, Paloma didn't talk about the COVID being behind the computer and being choreographers, dance makers, artistic director, Paloma is. But tell them a little bit about the big thing that just happened and how you dealt with that, Ailey.
Wow. Okay, so I call myself a choreographer, and then I'm offered this opportunity that I never even dreamt of. I was invited by the new associate artistic director of the Ailey Company, Matthew Rushing, to collaborate with him and current company member Clifton Brown to create a work to honor the spirit of Revelations. And I was so excited and so nervous. And it was to happen in person until it wasn't. And like all of us, we adapted. And we made a work online. And when I tell you, I sat you here. I didn't say that. I am a Black woman. I am wearing tortoiseshell blue light glasses. I just got them because my eyes were starting to hurt from looking at the screen too much. Tortoiseshell, blue light glasses. I have short hair. I have on gold studs. I'm wearing a pendant necklace my mother gave me as a child. I'm in a greenish shirt, and behind me is a white wall covered in art. I sat you here because this is where I made Testament. This is what we named that piece, which was a part of Ailey's first virtual season. I sat here more than anywhere. And so I wanted you to come into my space, my creative space. This used to be the place that I sat to eat dinner with my husband. Now I can't sit here anymore to eat dinner because I'm like, we're blurring lines, man. I can't sit here anymore. But what was it like? It was collaboration on a beautiful level. It was what I see in my own community, in our community, passing batons and having each other's back. It's what I've seen in this beautiful team with BDS. It's caring for each other. It's recognizing your weaknesses and being able to articulate them to each other. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of time in front of a screen. I made a solo on a dancer that I was never in a studio with. I made a solo that involved American Sign Language because I have learned this through that process in wanting to create the feeling of being othered and to continue to lift up how I, in this brown skin, I'm othered for that, but there are so many other ways that people are othered. So I thought, let's uplift something else. And I came up with the idea with Matthew and Clifton. I said, can we include American Sign Language? Like, what if we just figure out some way of putting American Sign Language in this solo? I think it's important for this to lift up another voice that is not represented typically. And I did that because, and I learned this from Samantha Figgins, who I choreographed the solo on. I kept saying I was hearing impaired because I was always told I was hearing impaired. If you know me, you know I am the first person to be like, huh, I'm sorry, what? I'm not hearing impaired. That's what the hearing world deems it. I made a solo on Samantha Figgins, 3,000 miles away, that involved American Sign Language. I did not know American Sign Language. I mean, why give yourself more? But we did it. Sam was in, it was where it aligned with Sam's journey because she was already doing the work herself. So we were able to kind of find this middle ground. And I can't say that it's the work I am most clear on because I never really got to see it. And it was a dance film, so it was edited together and all these things. But man, it was cool to make a work that way. And it was hard, but it felt great to be stretched and to lift up another voice, to lift up my own.
And what about this company that you just, what?
So the reason I was prepared for Testament's virtual experience is because of this company that I've launched with my colleague, my friend Francisco Gela, called Zeitgeist Dance Theater. And this is a project-based company at this point. And we were supposed to have a season this summer, but like everything, it was canceled. And at the time everything was getting canceled, I was having the typical human response to things. Meltdowns. I was having meltdowns, and then came the fight. I was calling people talking about, this is unacceptable. We need to get together. We need to figure out how to make this. And why didn't they email us back to at least say something? And all these, I was having so many feelings. And nobody emailed back to say why they, any more details in terms of cancellation, because everybody was dealing with meltdowns. I understand now. I apologize for having those feelings. But I said to Francisco, because we were going to cancel, I said, you cannot cancel. This feeling I'm feeling as an artist, that my life just got canceled, we cannot do that to these artists that are younger than us. And it goes back to that mentorship, right? Because I was thinking about, if I could protect someone from what I was feeling, I was going to try. And that's why we launched Zeitgeist Dance Theater anyway. So that was my first way into making work in this virtual space. And that film we actually did that all the way back in the beginning of the summer. And that film will finally launch on January 31st. So it's just so beautiful, the cycles. And that was the first thing I started, and it's the last thing to premiere. And so yes, I've launched a dance company, a pandemic. Do I know where it will go? No.
Come on back in, Paloma. Do you know where? No. No.
Nope. And I'm okay with that.
I don't know. Any of us know where we're going now, right? No.
Actually, maybe there's a little bit too much forecasting in the normal of, oh yeah, in 10 years, I'm going to go here. I don't know. That kind of, and a rigidity, it actually, then you start to narrow things toward this aim that may or may not be, if your gut bone is telling you to do it, that's one thing. But if you're kind of intellectualizing, like, the pathway should lead me here, that hasn't worked so well for me in my experience. Other people, everybody has to kind of do the pathway that is comfortable for them. And maybe moving a lot made me a lot more comfortable with. Usha, thank you so much for your story and your testimony. I feel like I started taking notes too, because that's how we did things.
I just wrote down gut bone. I was like, that's gonna be my new favorite saying.
And you know what? Jawale talks about the gut bone a lot, and it really resonates a lot with me in my own lived experience. And some things that you said resonated with me a great deal. And maybe because I'm 46, I don't think about this time, then.
I know, right?
What is your skin regime?
But this year I feel like there's some rankles that have emerged. Rankles. I don't like them. I'm not gonna call them wrinkles because I don't accept that they're there, but I do this a lot.
Yeah.
And that makes wrinkles. I just want you to know. All you people out there who don't have them yet, maybe don't do this so much as I do.
I also want to say that was David, our new David Roberts 651, who said that was me, the DJ. That's you, David. Hey, David. And y'all West Indian women. Oh, wait, me too. Cynthia Oliver said, I am feeling this.
Cynthia Oliver, St. Croix, that's a crucian right there.
I know. And Cynthia said to you, Usha, I'm here for you. I'm going to try. This is where we do the Q&A. And I'm going to try to find some questions, but I'm also going to try to push us to not go too far past our 7:30 time because we started a little bit late, et cetera, et cetera. But David did say, I'm fascinated by this conversation. I wonder what the relationship may be between the in-between and the middle. And wait, there's something from Nia. Wait, about the in-between. I lost it. Talk amongst yourself. I'll come back to it.
My father, so the past 10 years of my choreographic practice has been rooted in revisiting my father's fish trap building tradition. Some people know that, building a better fish trap. And the questions that come from leaving your ancestral home, what do you take with you, leave behind, and reclaim? I have a whole bit of writing about how my dad says you have to start building the trap in the middle because otherwise everything's gonna turn out crooked. And the middle space feels incredibly important or significant in my life right now. And also seems to be opening up. I mean, the middle is where the funnel for the fish to come in actually is, like the middle of the trap. And so this in-between or middle space has a lot of information for us and could also lead us into a trap.
I think it's interesting that you say that, and I love it. And I'm so happy that someone's recording this because I'm gonna watch this like 60 more times for myself. But you explained what I have questioned most of my life. I felt, when we talk about structures, I felt that I was always so excited to be in the middle. Like, this is so corny, but this is my best way of explaining it. In my middle school, in junior high, there was an award called Best All Around. There was Best Ballerina, there was Best Modern Dancer, there was Best Jazz Dancer, and I was always aiming for Best All Around. I just wanted to be in the middle. And I feel like my whole journey, I've always wanted to be there. And I think for myself, I don't know if it's a trap or not. I have certainly questioned if it was, but from the middle, I could see what direction I could pick.
What is your sign of the zodiac?
I am a Cancer. What is yours?
I'm a Gemini.
Ooh, we close.
Yeah.
Him and Nia.
Nia said something about numerology. Y in numerology is the Y signifies a person that tends to be intuitive and can work with abstract information, whether scientific or spiritual. The power of the alphabet. Did y'all say something about Y? When you were talking?
Usha has Y.
Oh, the Y in your name. That's what I was thinking. That Mama Nia be dropping. And
Mama
Jay
Nia,
Bowie said, go ahead.
Mama Nia, can you have a conversation with my own mother? Because she still says she picked the Y because it was pretty.
But it had a vibration maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, Mama Nia will have a conversation with you, Usha, or with your mother. Mama Nia is there. So Jay Bowie says, thank you for sharing your process with us. I'm not sure who it was. And Laura Marchese said, no other line than your own. And Hank Smith, yes, Testament was incredible. Come on through, Hank.
Thank you, Hank.
Come on through.
Thank you, Hank.
Can I say my notes that I wanted to reflect on? Because Usha told me the things that she wrote down about, and I want to let her know there's some things she said that I had to write down also.
Paloma.
This idea of I lost myself, and this idea of like, well, I'm not going to bring up the challenges because my mother is working hard to like make sure we make this way. Really resonated a lot with me. The reason I brought up 46, I was like, oh, maybe I don't think about those times because right now I feel a little more certain about some things, but and this idea of like waiting for what the expectation or the fear, the like internalized expectation of like what might come next, and waiting for permission. I feel like I wasn't until, I mean, I had to permission myself to leave a journalism career that was fine, but that my love was dance, and permission myself to say, okay, you know, you might have some really hard work to do to become, to start really being a dancer again at 27, but you should try, because otherwise you will live a life of regret, and who wants to choose that? So I just so appreciate all of this, and the challenge of choreographing on Zoom, but also the possibilities that it opens up. Like this project I was supposed to work on this year, grieving the early part of the year. I can't go to St. Croix. I can't make things with people in public space. And then in November, by November saying, okay, you know what? I can actually get more people together on the Zoom and afford to really pay them more, because I won't be transporting everybody everywhere. Let me bring together 14 people from in a call and response between the colony and the mainland and see what happens. So yeah.
That's y'all, beautiful. It's nearing that time.
All right.
Is that crazy? Well, I know it goes pretty fast. Come on back, Makeda. Come on back, Kimani. And Valerie Rashan came in, and Tommy Wahid Evans.
Tommy! Hello, Valerie.
Right? Oh, it feels so good to be back to happy Thursdays. Happy BDS Thursdays.
You better say it.
Dang.
And because it's Happy BDS Thursday, we got a special thing happening on Friday that we want everybody to come. It's a party, y'all. It's a fundraiser. Love Fest. Come on, show your love. Come dance with us. DJ Sabine. What?
Boom.
What? Yes, it's going to happen there. So please come. Please come.
And Princess Moon is our host.
Yes.
If y'all know Princess, well, and if y'all know DJ Sabine, well. So, Usha, Paloma, did we forget anything? Do you want to say anything before we do our official goodbye? Well, you have to tell us about the company and the show, Usha. I mean, yes.
I just want to say this has been an extremely rejuvenating experience. I have been going through my days feeling very tired, and you forget that you need to talk to people in a real way, And so thank you for offering this space for us to tell Black dance stories. Truly, deeply, madly grateful. Company, January 31st. I will try to be good about putting stuff on social media, Zeitgeist Dance Theater. And I want to hear about Paloma. When did your work premiere?
We are going to put it back up in November of this year. So I'll keep everybody in the loop, but we're going to dig in a bit more around these platforms and what beyond Zoom might be waiting for us.
And thank goodness that we have, were you going to say what I was going to say? Go ahead, Kimani.
No, just beyond Zoom.
Beyond Zoom.
Beyond, yes. Sorry.
I was going to say that now that we have a website, we can update folks. Get it, Monica. We can update folks on what y'all have been doing. Which, Gabe, come on, y'all. Go to the website. Stay with us. Find out more about us. And that opening sequence, that was Caitlin Chandler. What? And that was Samantha Spees dancing.
Yes.
When Sam was on Black Dance Stories and Kojo's drums and all the fact. Caitlin, so go to the website. Our team is so happy to be a platform to support all of you out there.
Yes.
And in that light, next week, come back. Please come back.
Who's here?
We have Bill T. Jones and Darrell Grand Moultrie. What? And we have a fabulous February coming up. So much good stuff. And man, this partnership with 651 Arts means so much. So much. So thank everybody for being here. Cheers to Black Dance Stories. As what did Mama Nia say? Her heart, her something. I can't. There's a quote in the chat about her heart, but
okay.
Thank you, friends. We love you.
Yes,
See you next
we love you.
time. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you tomorrow. Come to the party.
Tomorrow, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Good night.
Good night.